So it's hard to say that I'm excited for Into the Radius 2 despite it being so close to what I want, because at the end of the day, it's just hope for an idea. And I've taken enough chances on promises and been burned that I can't really have faith in the idea alone.
Oh, we are so fucking back. Now this intro is a very romanticized version of what you may assume it to be like to play this game, but trust me, that is not what was going through my head the entire time. It was a little more something like this. I love it. I just love it so much. It's cute and it's little and it's fun. It just works. Hello, Mosey. Hello, Mosey. Hello, Mosey. Yay! Into the Radius 2 is currently the most actualized version of my dream game that I've played. If you're unaware of what I personally mean by my dream game, it's all in this other video I made, and it's not required to watch it because I'm going to be referencing it a lot in this video, but just so you know. Anyway, I am glad I reserved judgment about this game until now. I believe I had full right to be nervous about the future of this game, and to be honest, I still am. But most things I'd hoped and asked for are in this game. One thing I didn't even ask for, but is the greatest creation ever, is the modular gear system, which I'll be getting into later, I promise. Now then, it's been a year, and I forgot exactly what I said in the first video. Let's go back to that. How does the game hold up to what I described as dream game material before?
Hi, Nils.
Hello. Just about done cleaning this last part. Oh my gosh, that's like an AK. Wait, what? Is that a 74 or an M?
Yes.
Fucking put it on the vise.
No, I want you to guess. Don't be boring.
Is that stamped? Wait, hang on. Just investigate. Wait, I'm trying to tell if it's stamped. That's stamped. Oh, it's a 74.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
okay.
does look like an AKM, doesn't it?
They're very similar. The main way that you can tell, which is how I can tell, is the AKM uses a milled receiver, where they have a block of metal, they cut out everything in the middle. This one, the 74, is a stamped one, so they have sheets of metal and they just stamp out the different sections. Like this little indent here, stamped out, and like folded and bent around to the shape that it needs to be. So it's a lot lighter, right? But I'm asking because I have a barrel for each, so I can put one on right now. So there you go. Oh, totally. The .14 update, weapon customization, was really the main thing I was waiting for. Of all possible features to add, for me this is the most substantial one. So after over a day of playing through the game again with the new update, and some more in the single player, I think I can talk about it. Basically, it's like they popped in the module set of mods from H3VR into this game, just not as extensive in the amount of parts you have to choose from. We can rebuild him. Pairing the modularity of weapons with the weapon stashes you find while exploring the radius, having to repair individual parts, definitely reminds me of the gameplay loop of something familiar. which is by no means a bad thing, especially how you get unique parts from looting, which makes me hardly want to buy parts when I might just find something cooler off the floor.
Wait a minute. Oh shit! It's an M16A1 receiver. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna come. Oh my god.
You sound like a fanboy.
Shut up.
I feel like that's something a fanboy
Shut
would
up.
say.
Shut up. Can I not be happy about things? Can I be excited about my interests?
Hey, people wouldn't say, I'm gonna come. Especially not in that tone.
What do you mean?
No.
Hell, I like how you have to clean the individual gun parts now. If anything, it would be cool if they doubled down on it, add the barrel cleaning like the first game, and make me clean parts of the gun based on what exactly happened to it. Like if I dropped it in the mud, well, gotta clean the frame and maybe wash out the internals. Fired a bunch of ammo through it, like multiple cases worth, but it was on you the whole time, then maybe I don't need to spray down the stock, but I should focus a lot on the barrel and chamber because it's probably black in there.
There's a guy up there. I just thought you should know.
Thank you.
I will find you.
And I will rape you.
And I will rape you.
Yeah.
Maybe? I swear I've seen these enemies flank me while their buddy suppresses me from another angle, or firing on me as the other reloads.
Always reloading, jump up.
And the way the different enemies work together, that being people with guns, fractures, and creeps, mesh together to be really tough to fight. Guns are a constant threat, forcing you into cover with suppressing fire, while fractures keep you away and force you to move, sometimes into fire, by constantly approaching you with threat to melee.
Jesus.
They're sturdy, and they run a dodge build. And creeps keep rolling around you in circles to distract you, waste your time and ammo trying to hit them, and maybe attack you, waiting until you look away or you're otherwise preoccupied to actually hit you. I don't know how much of it is actual proper AI or just coincidentally working well together, but either way it ends in me getting screwed a lot. Very good. Also, just looked it up and I forgot, yeah, no, they actually did improve the AI a while ago, so they meant to do that. They're supposed to do that. The progression's nice, but it could be a lot better. You unlock gear and weapons over time by doing high priority missions and increasing your rank, but there's only 4 ranks, and all the really cool stuff gets unlocked at like rank 3 or 4. A lot of the gameplay is in the first 2 ranks, so it has this issue where you're waiting forever to get the cool stuff, and then when you do, suddenly the game's over. There's maybe an extra priority mission after getting to rank 4, but after that it's the same missions you've been doing since the start. And there's no real story yet either. If there would be something to put all your cool gear to use for in the endgame, but until that gets added, I hope you enjoy Radiant quests, because that's the only thing that'll be sending you out again.
Hey, check my Epic Direct upgrade.
Wow!
Whoa!
I hear there'll be a use for the dust you collect, like upgrading your character in the future. Aside from just getting new gear, upgrades aren't really a thing yet. It's limited to say the least. I know in the first game people use this one trick where if you let an item hover on another item that you're holding, you could get it to stay in place. People use that one a lot to customize their base. But I actually don't know if that trick works in this game, and even then, that's a very limited way of customization. I do hope to see more of that because I love base customization when I get the chance. I've seen this happen. Yeah, it's pretty simple stuff like bring enough ammo, meds, food, but it at least is a risk. The world does change, and it also reacts to you, technically. Every few days, the radius will reset with the tide, this game's version of a blowout or a mission. When that happens, enemies, loot, anomalies will be reset. Also, when you go back to your base, enemies respawn when you come back, even if the tide hadn't happened yet. Which is annoying, but oh well. Also, upon increasing your rank, more difficult enemies will start to spawn. The forest, where at rank 1 all you'd see are cops and the occasional shotgunner, we'd see consistent machine gunners and even snipers towards the endgame. Which is bare bones, I guess. Quest's only real effect on the world is adding portals for you and getting access to the next map. Not like there's any RPG elements, but again, early access. I don't even expect there to be much of a choice in stuff like that, so any effect is a welcome one. Not yet. Well, not really. Official support is planned with the 1.0 update, but people have made some stuff already. Though, this is probably the hardest game I've tried to mod. A lot of it has to do with it not being supported, updates to the game changing how everything works, and a lack of experience from the whole community. But somehow, everywhere I look, people can't get these mods which allegedly work in the current version to function at all, me included. This seems to be the average sentiment with the mods right now. There's some cool stuff that I'd love to have, but I think I'll just have to wait a while, which is fine. Just means I get more time in the base game to really get comfy with all its features. Hell yes! The make or break, co-op, yeah, that's a thing.
What? What do you want? Noodles?
I want you in the radius now.
It's buggy and it crashes every few minutes, but it is functional, and it's more functional than the last time I played it. They're trying to add a 4-player co-op feature in the future too, which then, the main limiting factors would just be wrangling 3 other people to play the same game at the same time on PCs powerful enough to run this, with multi-$100 equipment just to play it. Which, well, oh, that shouldn't be tough at all. I really can't express how vital this is to me, as I have a lot of issue with committing to something and forcing myself to settle down with a thing for an extended period of time, which is why my upload schedule looks like this. The moment anyone offers anything to tear me away from whatever it is I'm working on, 9 times out of 10, I will agree without thinking. It's why I can almost never finish a single-player game, or finish a creative project, or get good at any hobby. I'm always just a message away from running away from it just to play some fuckshit game I won't even remember the next day. So, co-op games save me from that. I can't be torn away from this, that would be mean to my friend. It makes it a lot easier to say no to other people because, hey, I'm already busy. So we were able to finish up the game with 24 hours on our save file in like a month. That's including a couple breaks where we were both busy. Although, something I did notice. A lot of the features in this game that are of note hardly make themselves known in co-op. Or prominent, I guess. I barely notice all the cool stuff past the fact that my buddy is right there and he's probably doing something funny.
Look, it's perfectly good operational.
You have a
It
piece of
works.
shit and you have a non-functional rifle. And that was all of our money. You somehow used all of our money to have 2 fucking guns.
I feel I had to play through it again in single player to ruminate on the experience on my own. That's when I was able to put into words everything I love about this game. Either way, I wasn't satisfied. Still wanted more out of this game. Something I started to pay attention to while I was alone was the sights and sounds. They're really nice. Mysterious, unknowable ambience and droning. The soft wind and rustling of brush. And the anomalies. I never paid much attention to the anomalies. I was too distracted by my friend. But there's 3, technically 4, in the game right now. Nothing like the stalker style crush you into a ball and spit you out kind, or the roadside picnic, touch an invisible thing and die days later type. But these, force field, automatic shrapnel generator, and the rape cube, and God too if that counts.
That's gone. That's gone. That's gone. That's gone.
Oh, we're getting attacked by God, okay.
They all have their own identifiers. The force field has a bell that rings. The hedgehog is plainly visible and makes a little whooshing noise. And the rape cube makes the air sound like static. They all tell on themselves too. The hedgehog spikes the air sometimes, meaning if you're nearby you'll just get stabbed randomly. The force field pops every once in a while, pretty harmlessly. The cube...
Ah, the rape cube. Ah.
It's raping me!
And God is pretty hard to miss too. Really, the only way to get hit by them is by being unobservant or a total dumbass. Needless to say, I have been comboed by these things multiple times.
You know, I can. I'm getting juggled.
Anyway, for this playthrough, I had an idea in mind for a particular style of play. I had an idea it wouldn't work, but I had to see it just to make sure. A shopless run, with new settings, and something else. That commitment issue, I get that a lot less in this game. And that's because, well, holy fuck, it is my dream game. And I know that's the point of the video, but it feels great to realize just how true it is. I mean, it feels like a dream to play. VR itself is a dream state I tend to not appreciate enough because of how used to it I am. But the fact that I'm standing around with a box on my head, looking through some lenses, and it looks like that tree is actually that far away. The fact that closing one eye makes it noticeably harder to tell just how far I am from something. I love VR so much. This shit is magical. Ever since I saw those old dev kit videos, I knew I needed VR no matter what. This was the future for me. I mean, what's more immersive than being there? What's more responsive than your own movements? Reaching out to grab things and inspect them is as obvious an action as doing it in real life. Organizing, clearing jams, climbing, ducking down, either to grab at something you dropped or in response to fire, rolling, turning, diving, sorry, wrong game. Anyway, it all comes naturally. Something very natural that only partially reveals itself in VR is movement. Everyone moves differently, walks differently, breathes differently, smiles differently, but all of these nuances are lost in VR games. Well, mostly, unless you have like face tracking or mocap. But just enough of that personality shines through with two controls and a headset, in the way one looks around and interacts with themselves and the world around them. The eyes and the hands, the window to the soul and the mirror of the heart. The basis of human expression is just enough to see some semblance of humanity in gameplay. It's a way of storytelling, to feel what the player is experiencing in a moment with their body language. Fear, rage, joy,
And all that. As was the case for
awe, intimacy. Because there is a level of intimacy and proficiency to be gained with weapons. It's something I first experienced in the FAS2 weapons mod in Gmod, then in Killing Floor 2. A visual depiction of the time spent with a weapon until it becomes more and more with you. This comes naturally in VR, of course, and it's plain to see where the level of proficiency lies and how it progresses while playing the game. The hesitancy before firing, sluggishness with aiming down the sights, fumbling reloads, the nervousness of a new experience, but a willingness to learn despite the inefficiencies. Makes me appreciate my Mosey more.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
After some time, I decided to actually go into the game alone and practice with it. Reloads, target acquisition, more and more and more, until I can effectively use it with minimal fumbles. A really specific thing I noticed before and after this was that I used to angle it after firing. It felt stylish, made it easier to catch around if I was just trying to top it off, but it also meant I had to realign it every time I fired. After my first Mad Minute style attempt with the Mosey though, I kicked that habit pretty quick. Same with just using gear, managing magazines and meds and whatever loot you pick up along the way gets easier over time. There may not be levels, skill points, fancy new quick versions of animations, but you, the player, gets better. Faster, more efficient, less likely to fumble when caught off guard, less likely to be caught off guard. It's a very refreshing form of progression that is unique to VR. Watching back through my gameplay over time has been fun to witness just that. The slow evolution from being timid when unnecessary, reckless when unsafe, and generally just inefficient with everything to, well, still kind of being a fuck up, but less so. To become damn near confident in what I do. That's a real lovely thing to see and feel. This intimacy doesn't end with the firearm though. It extends into the rest of the equipment and evolves over the experience of the game. After playing with two separate people, I started to notice just how different we all were when it came to our equipment.
These sights are
why you hate my
gay.
life? It's so
Here,
cute.
take a look. You like that?
It's perfect.
You
This is
like
perfect.
you like that? You're fucking lying. You're a fucking liar.
No, this is perfect.
You are gaslighting the shit. What the
Why
fuck
not?
is
What's so
wrong
wrong
with you?
about it?
You have a problem.
Not just on what guns we decided to bring, but how we run them.
What's this gay setup you have going on here?
What?
Where the holsters go, the magazine pouches, how many magazine pouches, the ammo for refilling them in mission, where one puts their meds, and any accessories they can fit onto their vest. Even the choice of armor plate says something about the person. The highest level plate is by most metrics just a direct upgrade. Higher damage resistance, higher health pool of the plate itself. It'll save your life by letting you shrug off getting magged up and sniped, and save you money by not devouring your expensive meds so much as well as not having to replace it so often. So why do I choose the medium plate? Well, you see this weight difference? It's not that much, but it is noticeable. With all this weight saved, I might be able to pack a couple extra magazines, more meds on speed dial on the side, maybe a spare case of ammo on the vest itself, which would be less movement for repacking magazines, and, well, maybe I wouldn't have to repack them in the field in the first place if I can just bring enough. With that time saved, maybe I can do more looting, more missions, and end up making more money than if I was constantly over-encumbered and limited in my options from that heavy plate. Or maybe not. It's still likely less economically friendly at the end of the day, but it is more flexible. See, that's just one choice of many on the equipment that you use in this game. Both choices are very much reasonable, but if you trade setups with someone, you'll both likely find the others unusable. I did this once with my friend, and we both had the same reaction of something along the lines of, "How the hell do you do anything with this?" and immediately swapped back. If we had to use the other's kit, we would fumble and die, but to our own selves, this is optimal. This is natural. Setting up your rig is a very personal thing. Mine will not look like yours, will not look like another's. We all have our own preferences, our priorities on what we need, notable traits that are distinctly us. The ability, the opportunity to test it with your own hands, even virtually, gives a very special, intimate understanding of how this would function. The freedom to experiment using different combinations and setups depending on the weapons you have or the mission. How a bolt action could fit alongside a PDW, a compact shotgun with a rifle, or a rifle with as much ammo as possible. Forcing sustainment of fire and sacrifice of everything else. If there's something wrong with it, you clearly notice and can make adjustments accordingly. Something unnecessary because of this being a video game, but I like paying attention to, is the kinematics associated with the equipment. Like the angle of pouches, the orientation of shotgun shells and loops. The custom weapons are what I wanted, but something tells me the customizable gear is what I needed. It depends on the mission, it depends on the person, it depends on the mood. Maybe there's a mission where we'll have a mix of long and short range engagements. I bring a rifle for long range, my friend brings a shotgun. I'm feeling comfortable with something simple like an SKS I was already using before. He's feeling adventurous, so he sets up the Saiga that we had half finished for a while to give it some time in the field. Even the way a kit evolves is unique. I end up being more conservative with what I've got, my setup staying mostly the same over time with some minor tweaking, leaving a clearer line of evolution. On the other end, my buddy had the tendency to completely revamp his entire setup every time we got back to base. It was pretty fun to not have a clue what I would see with each new mission. And I haven't even mentioned the backpack yet. For it being just a box that you throw stuff in, there's a surprising bit of personality there too. I try to keep mine tidy as possible to make clearing out after raid simpler. Stuff to sell goes in the bottom left, mission objects low center, meds in the bottom right, food top right, ammo boxes top left, and loose ammo top middle. Then gun parts all stick up out the box in the top middle right-ish area. It ends up looking very unrealistic when most items are sticking out of the thing, but it keeps it organized and works well for me. My friend, on the other hand, well, it's definitely all in there. And he eventually did get a bit more organized too. That was a nice development. All of this can only be done in the 90% of the game, the calm time, the liminal state of recovering from a mission and preparing for the next. And I love it. Something I appreciate is not only the action, but the fact that the action only makes up like 10% of the game, if that. The rest is actually very calm. That downtime is something to cherish, and makes the dichotomy between the monotony of managing your equipment and running around from point A to point B, to testing how well it works later in a firefight, is the yin and yang of the entire gameplay loop. Can't have one without the other. You know, CQB is actually pretty cool in this game, and it fucking sucks. I wouldn't wish anyone to have to actually do it, that's just an odds game, you're gonna lose if you do it enough.
Fact of the matter is that eventually you're going to get shot.
But it gives me some perspective simulating it in-game. Like, I knew it was hell, but it is neat to get a semblance of a simulation of it in VR, moving through door after door,
Corner after corner, analyzing everything on the fly, trying to make the best out of the worst possible situation in combat.
and inevitably guessing wrong.
Eventually you're going to guess wrong. Eventually you're not going to be fast enough. Could be today.
Now, this is a video game. It's nowhere near a correct or accurate simulation, and it's ridiculous of me to even consider comparing it to anything real. I'm gonna do it anyway though. Now if I wanted to have a more realistic depiction of it, I would do this.
It's a 50-50 at best. You just have to hope that you're on the right side of the coin this time, and the next time, and the next.
But being wrong doesn't leave you bleeding out in some hallway, and the enemy isn't all that aggressive or smart with how they fight. No murder holes, excessive suppression, grenades. They don't exactly fight for their lives very hard. And yeah, no grenades, for either side. Every encounter in this game that involves a building makes me wish we had grenades like the first game. Those things grew on trees before, why can't we just get a little RGD5 every once in a while? It would stress me out a lot less.
But what do I know? It's not like I've been there. It's not like I should know. I don't want to know.
And speaking of bleeding out in the hallway, this isn't much of a critique as much as it would be something kinda neat to add, is a more intricate healing system. As it is, catastrophically fucking up to the point where you're knocking on death's door is fixed like this. Which, while a lot less annoying than it could be, is so damn boring. Like, the system in the VR Walking Dead game, having to wrap bandages around yourself, that was really cool. I want more of that. I hear the game Contractor's Exfil Zone has something like it, but I haven't really bothered to play it. Maybe I'd like it, but PvP extraction shooter, I don't know. But for some reason, I do enjoy those overly detailed systems for healing. It would make for more of a consequence to being shot rather than losing a little bit of money in the form of meds and armor. Like reduced limb functionality, or a bleed that you need to find and deal with, or whatever. Doing self-triage and using VR controls to apply a tourniquet or shoving Cialox into yourself or your teammate sounds kinda cool, if morbid and tedious. But that's what I'm here for. The tedium, the monotony. Shooting people should be like less than 5% of the gameplay. Games like these are cozy to me because of that. Having to treat yourself well because if you don't, you die. In some terrible fashion. If I don't treat myself well in the real world, the worst I usually get is some minor inconvenience. Like not bringing my wallet or no morning tea. But in these survival games, if I forget ammo, if I don't bring medical supplies, if I don't bring a snack, a lack of self-care usually results in death, and it's almost always agonizing and slow. It's fucking awesome! Yeah, CQB sucks, but it should suck more. I would love for it to suck so much more. While learning how VR CQB feels in this game, I did end up learning a bit more about handedness in VR as well. My friend is left-handed, and this game accommodates for that, kind of. In the custom gear, there's right and left variants for what needs it. Only thing that doesn't is the weapons, but without the risk of brass hitting you in the face, that's not so much of an issue. Until you run into something clearly designed with disregard to lefties. Handedness is a very neat thing I don't get to express in flat screen games. Generally, it's either not an option or a flavor pick. Rarely does it ever make a difference. And even when there's no real gameplay difference, there's the opportunity for it to be a stylistic option. But in VR, it absolutely does matter. Managing equipment, operating the weapon, just aiming is affected based on your dominant hand. On the gear swapping hypothetical from earlier, if I did that with this friend, we would be unable to effectively use the other's setups at all as they're intended for the opposite hands. Now, I get a kick of this impact most often while clearing buildings. Having to check a room from right to left where my left side is being exposed first hurts a lot. So I'm sitting there trying to lean around, get an angle, but this time I have a full-length rifle. Usually I would have something with a foldable stock for this situation, but this time I wasn't so fortunate. And the game's virtual stock, while usually helpful in steadying my aim, was absolutely limiting me here. So I swapped hands, and I didn't die. I had to make that conscious decision, make the physical action, and I wasn't familiar with it. So I felt the severe lack of intimacy with this position and just how uncontrollable my aim was. But it worked, and it felt so cool to do. Yeah, about that shopless run. Yeah, it didn't work out. I tried. I think it'd just barely be possible. Maybe with lowering the enemy count or their health or something. But as it stands, it's somewhere between really annoying and impossible to actually do a run like that. A lot of it is due to the loot pool. Ammo is common, but only in lower amounts. A bullet here, 2 there. If you're lucky, you'll get maybe half a box of something. And while that forces you to use a variety of weapons, and that's cool, it also forces you to be extremely careful with your aim, because even one lost bullet is felt. Also, gear. Weapon parts and magazines and ammo does spawn around the map, but not any gear you put on yourself, and the basic rig really only works for pistols. And eventually, you unlock the expanded backpack that feels necessary in the later stages, and if your only survival is based on how much you bring home, not being able to buy that is nearly a death sentence. So yes, while buying gear and the large backpack, I still only made it through a bit of rank 2 before getting fed up with it. Now, I know there's a mod that makes enemies drop stuff and could potentially make this work, but as far as I know, that hasn't been updated to work with the new weapon system, and I couldn't even install it anyway. So maybe someday. Would be a cool gimmick, but the game is really designed with the shop in mind. The entire progression revolves around having access to it. Looting is meant to supplement the shop, not replace it. Like how many items just exist to be sold, and the entire weapon loot system right now. It seems to make more sense to just have that loot as an incentive to get a gun you might not normally use because it's cheaper due to already looting some of its parts. It's a discount you earned by being a hoarder. Removing the shop, forcing it to be played like this, while the loot tables are the way they are, is just miserable. And that's all I had to say, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Well, for now at least. What am I gonna talk about the ending of the game? Yeah, Bonnie. I'm just excited for 1.0, someday, hopefully. And just like last time, my hunt hasn't ended just because I have this. I'm always on the lookout for games with these features that I've been looking for, and I've got some new stuff in my collection. And if you're lucky, I might actually put in the effort to make a video on those too. I was gonna say like one of those games that are in development limbo, and then I was like, oh, right, yeah, like a certain other game.